Hi, I'm Ross Gilfillan. Welcome to Global Franchise Meets. In this series, we talk to the leaders and the experts of international franchising. Today, we meet Brian Duckett of the Franchising Centre.
Okay, well, my name's Brian Duckett. I'm chairman of the Franchising Centre, which is Europe's largest franchise recruitment consultancy and training firm. We have about 20 operators in the UK and 40 associates around the world. Basically, what we do is help franchisors to grow their businesses. Okay, I've been in franchising for 40 years, initially as a franchisee, and I've since been a franchisor and obviously for the last 20 odd years advisor to franchisors. I chose franchising to get into business for the same reason that many people should. I knew that I wanted to run my own business. I'd never done it before. I'd never worked in the sector that I chose to go into, and I wanted the help and support from a franchisor. I think so. I think it's particularly bright for people who want to build their businesses through franchising, and that in turn means it'll be good for the people who become their franchisees. The bright future is because franchising is a way, providing you've got a properly worked out system, franchising is a way, as we often say, of using other people's money and effort to grow your business. And there's loads and loads of opportunity, and franchising literally is spreading like wildfire around the world. Again, it's like any other investment. It has to prove to you that you can get a reasonable return on it and you're going to be doing the things you want to be doing. But once again, whilst the initial investment comes from the master franchisee, once this network is up and running, it's the franchisees that are paying to own and operate the units, and the franchisor continues to be paid for the services that he offers to those franchisees. So once again, you probably need less money to invest than you would if you were doing it entirely self-funded. The best advice I can give anybody is research. Look into franchising if you've never done that before. Look into the product or service that's the subject of the franchise if you've never done that before. Have as many discussions as you can with the franchisor and his management team. More importantly, with franchisees or other master franchisees that they have around the world. That's where you'll get the story from the horse's mouth. Well, there's lots. For a start, as a master franchisee, you need to first operate the business units yourself. So you may well be learning how to run, let's say, a restaurant. So there's lots of obstacles to that, I'm sure, if you've never done it before, but the franchisor is there to help you with that. Then once you're ready to roll out as a franchise, you have to learn how to become a franchisor. And there's all the skills there required to recruit, train, monitor, and motivate people who want to run their own business. You may never have done that before, and that's where you probably need the advice of an experienced consultant. Like that, really. Talk to people that have done it before. When you're ready to roll out the franchise as a master, join things like the British Franchise Association if you're in the UK, talk to other franchisors, talk to loads of other people that have operated networks like this before, and you learn from their experiences as well as from those of the franchisor. The first thing to research, I suppose, is what research actually the franchisor has done on whether there's a market for the product or service in your country. I'm always a bit concerned when a franchisor from an overseas territory knows very little about the service market in the country in which they intend to go. So that's where you start. But after that, it's research all the things that you need to know about operating the service or the product, if it's a retail thing, and about franchising in your country. Now, I know you'd say I would say this, but in every country, there will be people like us who help people to develop franchise networks. They will also know how deals should be structured when they're coming in to the country. So the first stop would probably be the franchise association in your local country, ask them who the consultants that are affiliated to them, and talk to a number of those, see which ones you get on best with, and try to work together. What I've said really is research the research that the franchisor's done, get to the bottom of why they want to come to this country, talk to other people, and satisfy yourself first that there is a market for the product or service that is the subject of the franchise in your country. Same again, I have to say, it's research. Most people getting into this, if they haven't been in franchising before, or if they haven't been in the sector which the franchise operates in before, need to find out as much as they can particularly about the franchising business. One thing people don't realize is when you get into franchising, or when any business becomes a franchise, you're getting into a different business. It doesn't matter if you were in carpet cleaning, coffee making, car hire, or whatever. You're now getting into another business, the business of franchising, which is about recruiting, training, monitoring, and motivating people who want to run their own business. Not at all. They didn't have 40 years ago, and they haven't now. Those of us that work in franchising know that it's everywhere. Most people don't know which businesses are franchises and which ones aren't, and they certainly don't know the benefits of franchising for all parties, the franchisor, the franchisee, and the end customer. I think there's an awful lot of work to be done everywhere around the world in educating the public about the benefits of franchising. Well, it would need a big budget to do a lot of PR. There are some initiatives now in the States, I think, where it's just a question of telling people about franchising. For franchisors to mention they operate a franchise network, for franchisees to say they're proud to be a franchisee, for customers of franchisees to realize that they're customers of franchisees and to speak well of the service they get from a franchisee, and also for the staff of franchisees to know how much effort and a commitment their boss has made to operating their own business. Many staff of franchisees don't know that their business is a franchise. Growth of businesses and growth of a brand, if it's done properly, and mutual success for both the franchisor and the franchisee. Both parties should be working together to build a brand and to build successful businesses, and that's what franchising is all about. Franchising is about success and duplicating that success. There are many. At the very basic level for franchisors, there is always the challenge of recruiting franchisees. Again, perhaps because not enough people know that they could be franchisees. So franchisee recruitment is always a challenge. Finding retail sites, if it's that kind of business, finding premises for franchisees is another challenge. Larger, perhaps, challenges in the political and legal environment is that in various places around the world, various bits of legislation look like affecting franchising, particularly joint employer legislation and that kind of thing. And that's where it's important that the franchise associations do their bit to make it clear that franchisees are not employed by franchisors, just to get more understanding of the way franchising works and to keep reselling the benefits. Very bright. It will continue to grow around the world. If you had a business, how else would you grow it successfully than through franchising, unless you had lots of money or you were going to borrow lots of money? The whole principle of people running their own businesses, building networks, building brands, it's worked for the last 40 years in the UK. It will carry on working in the UK and elsewhere for another 40 years. I wouldn't say hyped. I'd say perhaps excited and interesting. What we try to avoid in franchising is too much hype, but it's just the fact that you've got enthusiastic, ambitious people who want to run their own business, but they may not know how to do it. So they're excited to go to a venue where there are lots of opportunities where people are going to show them and help them to build those businesses. I think that's what the excitement's all about, the potential of the future for individuals.